All right. Well, welcome. Along with us here, we have some individuals from Christ Seminary in South Africa in Polokwane, and you'll probably recognize the gentleman to the far right, and that's Kwacha, one of the missionaries we support, Kwacha and Amanda Simwaka. But we got a couple of new faces, fresh faces as well, and you got Dave Beakley, and he is been in South Africa. Dave, for how long?
18 years.
18 years, and been serving essentially at Christ Seminary that whole time, right?
At Christ Seminary, with their Christ Seminary and Christ Baptist Church are kind of one and the same. They're church-based seminary, and so I've been working together there with the team since 2002. Matter of fact, coming up with my 18th anniversary tomorrow.
Wow.
We arrived in country July 1st, 2002.
Thank you for your faithfulness. Back when I was in seminary, I had the privilege of staying at Dave's place for a couple of days when I came and taught a little bit at Christ Seminary. And so, yeah, I recognize that living room behind him from our time there.
Yeah, it was a normal living room, but we put those bars in the windows because the government put us in restriction in COVID-19, so now we're all locked in.
Yeah, that's right. So now it's just kind of par for the course, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, next we got Charlie. And Charlie, I'm not going to try your last name because I'm probably not going to say it right. Can you say your last name for me?
Yeah. Have you done Hebrew?
Yes.
You can say that. Rampumedzi.
Rampumedzi.
See?
Yes.
Rampumedzi. There we go. And Charlie, you've also been at Christ Seminary for some years now as well, and you're one of the professors, right? So how long have you been at Christ Seminary?
Yeah, I've been there from the beginning. I started as a student in 1997 and finishing 2000, and they extended a call for me to stay as one of the lecturer or professor. Then since then, I served in the seminary as well as in the church as an associate elder. That's 97 up until now.
Well, thank you for your service and your faithfulness there. Well, I thought it would be good for us as we look forward to our Give It All campaign that we're going to be having in the fall, working with Christ Seminary and working specifically to kind of help provide some internet services for the students of Christ Seminary. If we got to know a little bit more about the seminary. And so I have a couple of questions that I think it would be good for our whole church to hear these gentlemen answer. And so I'm going to start with you, Dave, and ask what type of students come to Christ Seminary?
Well, in our some 24 years or so of existence, we've been able to have students that come and they go out and they're part of a church or they plant a church. And so a majority of our students that come into Christ Seminary are disciples of our graduates. And so there's somebody recommended from a pastor that we've trained, and they sometimes come with their pastor to get trained. And so we're seeing a real good second and third generation of students here. And so we've got students from still from various countries, which is why this COVID lockdown is so difficult. We've got quite a number from Zimbabwe. We've had others from other various African countries that come. But what's a real joy is that quite a number of the students that come are from our graduates. And so they're familiar with us. They're familiar with some of the core doctrines that have taken probably over 20 years to really permeate into the culture that's here. And so there's much less of a steeper learning curve when students come in. It's not such a shock to their system when you talk about basic doctrines of faith and doctrines of grace and these kinds of things, because they're already been taught by our graduates. So I would say that is a bulk of our students. Not all. We still get people that come recommended from various churches, and Pastor Charlie, who is he's our principal. You would call him the president of the seminary. Spends a lot of his time visiting churches so we can establish relationships with churches outside of our network. So again, we're here to help train those men as well. So it's a mix, but we're seeing a core group that comes from our graduates.